It's me, Mark Harvey joins us, and the panel's in uproar. Reece has just said, what a beauty. Hello, Mark.
Hello, and the worst part about it, he did not even get reported for that.
Can we have another look at that?
I was 18 years of age.
Oh.
There you go, cop that.
Well, gee, I hope...
Unbelievable.
Yes, young Jimmy. I must have said something to him that he didn't like, I don't think. And
That wouldn't be like you though, mate.
No, I got actually...
He was only a flyweight though.
Yeah, he was. He was a Golden Gloves, I reckon, in his younger days. And I actually had a bit of a tussle with Phil just before that, and I don't think he liked the attention that I paid to Phil. And so, bang, I just caught one.
By God, if that had been the Olympic Games, it would have just been a unanimous points decision there for the boy in the blue and white stripe.
The worst part about it, Arnold Brightis, who was a runner at the time, was just holding him. I didn't think he'd throw one, and he just let go this left hook, and I didn't even see it. And bang.
So there was no video charges in that year?
No, not those days, no. No, that was in 1985, I think, that one. So.
Well, you loved that, didn't you, Reece?
Oh, no, that's not what you want to see on a football field, but I'll tell you what, it was pretty quick.
It was quick.
It was very quick.
Right. But we shouldn't sort of... we're going to highlight it again, we shouldn't go on Reece. I've forgotten. We all know you were a baby bomber and you were 18 and stuff, but you looked about 14 there.
Yeah, I did. When you look back at those type of clips, I did look young.
So that's your first year, yeah?
Yeah.
And you played flag in your first year?
It was either 84 or 85. I just can't remember which year it was, but it was. We both won the flag those particular years.
Actually, I just say, look at the other bit too, where you had the 3 or 4 bounce run down the field.
It's been a long time, Ian, since I've done that, I can tell you.
And looking at that, I thought you're the only bloke in league footy who hasn't changed his hairstyle, but when you're 18 it was really fair dinkum blonde. There's a lovely goal in that Northern game against Carlton.
Yeah, that's right, yep.
You kicked a goal last week too.
Yeah, I've been sneaking down there. I've kicked actually 5 this year, and Sheeds is starting to move me down the forward line in the last couple of quarters,
Talking about Sheeds. Yes. That's very unusual over some.
And you always wonder what it would be like to have another coach, but I don't think I'm going to have one in my career.
So have you seen Sheeds change much over the years?
Oh yes, Ron, no doubt. He's mellowed a lot in his coaching methods and training type of thing. He delegates a lot of his work now, Ron, and you don't just get Sheeds, you get 2 or 3 of the other coaches as well, consistently during training and even match days as well.
How'd the club get over Williams going off back to Port Adelaide, to Port Power in the middle of the season?
Yeah, obviously Mark had a clause in his contract whereby if he got a job that was higher than what his job was currently at, that he could leave and go to that position. And we've covered it pretty well. Mark Thompson's stepped in as reserve coach, and there hasn't been a problem. It's been as good as gold.
And would he want to continue on as a reserves coach, or?
Ron, I think just judging from all reports, he's been terrific with the young kids and that, and I can see Mark Thompson being the reserve coach at Essendon next year. No doubt.
That's, of course, if the rumour that Tim Watson is coach and Roger Merritt as his assistant doesn't come true.
Well, I would say that if Bomber wanted the job as reserve coach, he would get it before Roger. There you go.
Oh, good, thank you. Ooh, good stuff. Now, let's talk about Essendon and Sydney. They're playing at the MCG tomorrow at 2:10. And Ron's going to ask you lots of questions because he's a spy for Sydney.
Yes, he is. I've got to be careful what I say.
Essendon had won 7. Sydney won. There was a draw, and that was in round 6 this year. Friday night at the SCG when Sydney 14-6 came home with a rush to catch up to Essendon 12-18. Plugger kicked 8 out of 14. Mark Harvey had 20 kicks. And James Hird had 30 disposals, including one which actually tied the game because the Swans had hit the front. Here is some action from that game. Did you play in this one, Mark?
Yeah, it was a fairly wet night actually. It was really boggy in the centre, and we thought we had the game won with 5 minutes to go, and I think we were 15 points up, and all of a sudden the Swans just got a run on, and they pegged us back. But,
probably you look back on this, Mark, won't you, and see it as a game you should have won because you had so much more of the ball, 10 more shots.
Yep, no doubt, Ron. We were disappointed when we left Sydney to come a draw. We thought we should have won the game, and obviously that's going to have a fair bit of a bearing on where we finish in the ladder now because let's face it, we only got 2 points for the draw, and 4 would have been a lot more.
Why wasn't that game switched? That ground looks as bad as the Western Oval. They moved games off there.
Where are we going to play?
They have a ball in Sydney, Ron, didn't they? Is that ground like that because you had a ball up there?
I didn't know what ball at the Western Oval.
No, sorry.
Just on Essendon, Mark, I think after 93, everyone more or less thought that it was just going to be a decade of the Bombers. They had the young guys in there, and it just really has not fallen away completely, but it's probably been disappointing from that point on.
It's very hard with the competition at the moment to stay on top for a number of years. It's pretty even, and you've got all the interstate clubs coming in, and they've got it all their own way. They've got all the money, and it's very hard to keep on top. So I mean, I think we've done a fairly good job since '93. I don't think we've been outstanding. Obviously, we've got a lot of young kids that played in that '93 premiership that mightn't have come on or might have got carried away with that success early in their career.
But also, it was a year, like this year, where one of 4 or 5 teams could have won it. Just depends who was bet on it. There wasn't an outstanding team that year, was there?
No, I don't think so, Ron. No, you're right.
Same as this year.
You're right. And the only difference really this year is probably we've got 4 interstate clubs in the finals. And where those finals games are played is going to have a big bearing on what happens in the final series.
Now, Ron, we better talk a little about the Swans. And as I mentioned earlier, Andrew Marr has been a very busy boy this week. He's been over to Perth, and he's also made the trek to Sydney, where he took the chance to catch up with Troy Luff, one of your favourites, Ron. Yeah. And Luffy has had to overcome a lot of setbacks to become a top player at the Sydney Swans, and Andrew started by asking him about that.
Well, I've believed that in myself that I could always be a regular senior player, and I've never really had a position this year, being from one end of the ground to the other, but I've always believed I've had a role there, and I think Rocket this year has given me a role. Yeah, I think my confidence has helped a lot. I've got a lot more self-belief, and not going out and worrying about making mistakes, just going out there, having a good time, and with the team playing so much better, it also makes you play better. Well, I've always had a lot of believers, and especially the supporters. After all the games, they're always coming up saying, why aren't you in the seniors, or you are there, you're playing well, and all of a sudden you get dropped again. And they're always coming up. It just wasn't really the media that had come up and wished me all the best. And now that this year it's all happening, all those supporters are saying, see, I told you so. Well, I've been to about 3 or 4 grand finals, and every time I see the guys running around with a cup in their hand, I'd just say that would love to be me. I'd give anything to be one of those blokes running around the ground, winners at the end of the season. It'll have to be one of the biggest turnarounds ever. We've had 3 wooden spoons in the 90s, I think it is, and to come from last 2 years ago to 14th, 13th, 12th, whatever it was last year, to win a flag, it would be totally unexpected, and I think it would be fairy tale stuff. But at this stage, we're not quite, thinking that far ahead. Well, I think with the game against Geelong here, when it was a sold out game, the game against West Coast is sold out, and I'm sure the game on the weekend against Essendon's going to have a lot of people, so they're going to be finals atmosphere. As far as the pressure goes, I think we've had a lot of games this year that we've just been under so much pressure, and we've come through each time. So I think that'll keep us in good stead for when it counts in the finals.
There he is, Troy Luff. He's one of your pin-up boys, isn't he, Ron?
Well, it's a great story. I mean, he just about got the axe, I think, once or twice when I was there. So it must have been very close again.
Did you stick up for him, or did you want to axe him?
I think I wanted to axe him. I just trying to remember. But the point is, he just hung on by his fingernails a couple of times, once before I got there and once during, and here he is, he's had a trophy, and that's really good to see.
Is his nickname the Elephant Man? Is that right, Ron? Is that what they call him? Craig O'Brien too? Because I might be playing on him tomorrow, so I might just... the first thing I say...
probably got a freakish ability.
Is that what it is?
Okay. You're going for Essendon, aren't you, Ron? Keep out of this.
Yes, I am.
He's trying to... he's trying to get you into trouble.
No, I'm fine.
I wouldn't allow derogatory nicknames.
You wouldn't?
No.
Right. So they're just all called Super and Special and Magic.
Exactly.
Now, Reece, rat bag?
Rat bag. Thanks very much. I want to be okay.
No, you're right. Hyphen. See, that doesn't mean anything, really.
Bag.
I think Sydney can win this. It's at the MCG, and I think they'll be thinking about the finals. Obviously, they're thinking about the finals, and a match on the MCG could mean a fair bit to them this week.
You going for the Swans?
Go for the Swans, yeah.
Ronnie!
Well, I was very pleased last week when they came through. It was a very testing game and a very testing situation, and I was very pleased the way they went about it. So I think on this occasion, that's another big test for the Swans. I reckon we'll do it.
You reckon you'll do it? I reckon you will for 3/4, but I'm going to go for the Bombers. This is a desperate bid by me to catch up to you, Ron, and go past you by getting 2 more than you. So you're going to win, aren't you? Just look me in the eye, Mark Harvey, and tell me you're going to win.
I've got no problem about beating the Swans tomorrow. There you go.
Good. Thank you, Mark Harvey. I'm convinced. I mean, he's out there. You're just up behind the glass. Good. I'm going for the Bombers. Now, St Kilda and Hawthorn are playing also tomorrow afternoon at 2:10. They're at Waverley.
Oh, look at that, 6-5.
6-5 for the Saints versus Hawthorn. And last time they played out at their home ground, the Saints 13-8 beat Hawthorn 9-11. Dunstall had just the one kick. He was struggling early in the year, no goals on that occasion. Stuart Lowe, 6 goals, and Robert Harvey just the regulation 30 disposals in that game. And can either of these sides still make it? Have they got something to play for?
Hawthorn got a rough hope. Yeah, chance of making it over if Richmond tip over. But yeah, it's interesting. These two teams were probably struggling a lot at the start of the year, and they're just starting to hit their straps a little bit now.
And Rat is back, isn't he? That's one of our...
3-11. It was
11, yeah.
big possession getter from early in the year, wasn't he?
Salmon's really helped them this year, hasn't he? He's really given their ruck division a big lift. He's probably had his best season too, when you say, as an old teammate.
Oh, look, no doubt, Ron, and he's been a major factor in why they're fighting out for eight spot at the moment, and you know, I guess he's got what he wanted to play in the ruck, and he's obviously doing the job for him.
And you haven't been let down much in the ruck, really, because you've had two big guys,
Well,
Somerville and Lazio.
That's right, and we've also got Ryan O'Connor who's coming back too, so we've got probably 3 or 4 blokes that can do ruck.
Keep talking.
But the Saints must have been disappointed to get beaten as they did last week by Footscray.
Very much so, yeah. They were absolutely dismayed. And
Stuart Lowe had a dirty day. He'd be hoping to go better this time, I'd imagine. And Dunstall, of course, how did he go last week?
No, he had a dirty day.
Jason had a dirty day too.
No, he didn't kick a goal last week.
So so we've got 2 players coming off dirty days.
So it'll be the battle of the dirtiest.
the big 4 was in lots of trouble. Winmar got some kicks in the second half. Burke did okay. Harvey was stopped. So once that's and Low, of course. So once those things happen, and the younger guys are also by the conditions, and Footscray are very hard at it. I mean, I reckon they've been a bit stiff this year, Footscray.
It rained
a lot of good efforts.
It rained most of the day. The Saints might have been better served not to have complained about the Whitten Oval and gone and played out there on Saturday.
Well,
because once they played
very revved up.
Yeah.
They were very annoyed about that.
Yeah, they've played right into their hands, and then when it rained all day, well, it doesn't help Stewie much, does it?
No, not at all, and particularly out at Western Oval.
So anyway, really get some tips on this game.
No, I'm going for Hawthorn. I think they'll beat St Kilda. I think if they can cover those particular blokes that Footscray did last week, they'll win the game. And I don't think Jason will get held scoreless again, and he might have a big day.
Reece?
Well, I'm thinking the other way. I think the Fab Four, or whatever we call them, from St Kilda. I just think that they're due for a good game, and Burke and Lowy and these guys, you can't hold them down for too long, so they'll bounce back, and I think they'll win this one.
Ron?
Yeah, it could be so. I think any side could win, but I am going for Hawthorn.
Good. I'll go for the Saints. Actually, I might go for the Swans now, because I've got 3 different now. This is desperate times. No, I'm going to go for the Saints. I reckon I'll go right out there at Waverley, back with a bit of space to run around and to kick it down to Stewie, 1 out. So go Sainters. Now, Mark, stick around.
Yes.
You're not going away. There's another game we want you to help us with. It's, in fact, the Carlton-Footscray game. And as well, when we come back, we'll be looking at the late mail.
The 1993 Round 2 clash between Essendon and Carlton.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see that again.
The 1992 Round 12 clash between Collingwood and St Kilda.
Oh, boy, I'd like to see that again, too.
Last year's Round 15 clash between Essendon and Richmond.
Oh, now I'd really like to see that again.
On Sports AFL Channel 13, you can see these and other classic clashes from years past. Check your guides for time and day details.
Whack attack! Flying to the weekends with Donald Duck! Still as crazy as ever, stirring up a mixture of hilarious cartoon adventures with Goofy! Those little terrorists, Chip and Dale! And of course his best buddies, Mickey and Pluto! Quack attack! Classic cartoons that'll have you in stitches!
That's what I like to see.
So set your clocks for 5, because you don't want to miss Quack Attack! Saturday and Sunday afternoons on the Disney Channel.
And we're looking at a bit of Carlton and Footscray action. action there because Carlton and Footscray is the last game that we have to look at tonight on Footy Focus, and they're playing on Sunday. 2 weeks in a row there for Footscray at Optus Vision Sports AFL Footy Focus Oval, 10:02. Carlton 6 wins in the 90s, Footscray 4, and last time they met was round 6 this year at the MCG. Carlton 12-8, Footscray 9-10. Jose Ramiro was tagging Greg Williams and kept him to 1 kick and just 6 handballs. And he won't have to worry about the diesel this week. Silvani kept Dylan Jakovic touchless, but Jacka has burst back with 3 goals last week, and Craig Bradley had his regulation 23 kicks. And won't we be watching the centre bounce at the start of the game very closely on Sunday just to see whether Craig Bradley receives attention like he received at the opening bounce last week? Any comment on that?
I didn't see it.
No comment?
I saw it on the telly, and
You would have
I
loved
suppose,
it.
well, guys like, Braddles, he's going to cop and has copped those types of things over the years. It's a bit of a pity the umpires don't protect him a little bit more, especially in those centre bounce contests where their eyes are on the ball. It's pretty easy for someone to come off the line and do some damage.
Let's get some tips. Carlton and Footscray.
Well, Footscray really haven't got anything to play for, and Carlton still have. They get a chance to finish 4th or 5th, and you would think that Carlton would win this game, although Footscray have got a good record against them at Optus Oval.
David?
I think Carlton will bounce back from last week and perform very well.
Ron?
I reckon Carlton are a shadow of their premiership best.
Pearce is out, who played in the premiership. McKay comes back this week.
But it's not the McKay of
No,
last
that's
year.
right, that's
Pearce
right,
is
he's
out.
out.
Williams is out.
Brown's back, and he's
He's a very good player, yes. And he's
Crepe's an emergency. He was a gun last year.
Right. Who else? Hanno's not the player he was last year.
Gee, you're mounting a good case for Footscray here.
Well, I think Footscray got a very good chance. I am going for Carlton because of the stakes that they're playing for, but gee, don't be surprised if Footscray get up.
Right, now, apart from my director in my earpiece, Dixie over on the floor